Today I thought we could do a little comparison between two fairway drivers, the new 2024 OTB TRANCE 8.5 -2.1 versus the Zen 2, aka the Discmania Essence, which comes in at 8.6 -2.1. The Essence a touch more glide based off the flight numbers, but today we're going to see if there's any differences between these two flights and see just how they compare against each other. We actually do have a target out there. Typically I'm just out in a wide open field, but I'm hoping having a basket will get us some better flight comparisons. We'll see. The basket that we are throwing to is roughly 405 feet out there. Highly doubt we'll reach the basket, but at least it gives you a little bit of a distance estimate while watching this video. If anything, we kind of have a tail left to right wind out there. We'll start with the Zen 2. Just try to get these on a little bit of Hyzer. See how they Hyzer flip, if they do. And we'll just kind of go from there. Oh, wow. It felt like that flipped up pretty nicely. I yanked it a little bit, but you could really kind of tell that that wind wanted to take it right. But even with that, it had a small fade out on the end. That had like no chance whatsoever. Seemed a little bit flippier than one of my last comparisons with it. I felt like the wind was even down a little less on that one too. So let me get those again. Try that same Hyzer flip. Maybe a little less power, just so we can get some clean flights out of them. I put the drone up too, so hopefully that gives you a pretty good representation of how this Hyzer angle looks when throwing it with the TRANCE and the Essence. I feel like the Essence is just so smooth when it comes to the Hyzer flip. That time I felt like I took a little less off of it than the previous, but it flipped up to flat, gets the nice little rocking S out of it, and then just comes right back. We'll see if the TRANCE just folds over again like it did previously, or if we can get something a little bit more smooth out of it. I put on a lot of Hyzer that time, way more than the Essence, and it actually did start to get to flat, but we didn't get any turn out of it, and that was my bad because I put it on like pretty steep Hyzer. I don't know if that's because I was scared to see what the wind would do to it, or if I just was trying to overcorrect from the previous throw. I've been very back and forth, I feel like, with the TRANCE, because the first day I threw it, I'm like, wow, this thing seems really, really flippy. Then I took it out to the field, and that's where I started to get confused because I was expecting more of a flippy flight, but that day it was acting pretty neutral to stable for me. And I think in that video, I kind of just put it up to the wind. It had to be that factor. So I'm really like hit or miss, I feel like, with the TRANCE. Now the Essence I've kind of liked since the day I threw it. Seems like it's very easy Hyzer distance. It's very easy fairway distance, I should say. It's one where I feel like it has a nice little flip up out of it. If you throw it flat, you can get some good turn out of it. Just all in all, it's pretty controllable from what I have seen out of it. We're gonna rip these on Hyzer the other direction now just to get a little bit of a wind switch. So we got a little bit more of a headwind right to left now, but relatively the wind is down. Flip straight up to flat. That time we didn't get any turn out of it, but you can see the nice Hyzer. So I'm not really worried about rolling that disc over ever, unless it's a stiff headwind, but then I'm not throwing the Essence. Oh my, if you can see that, I kind of bombed it. I pulled it to the right side, but that time we actually got a beautiful flight out of it. It flipped up straight to flat, rode straight, and had the fade. So that's what I want to look for out of the TRANCE every single time, but it's always hit or miss for me. I'm either doing that or I'm throwing it horribly. From a hand feel state, 100% I would go with the Essence. Feels more comfortable in my hand. The TRANCE has a very weird rim in my opinion. It's got a lot of indentation on the bottom of the rim, and with that it's also a pretty curved and rounded shoulder here. I don't think it feels awkward enough where I could blame my throwing on the hand feel, if that makes sense, but it definitely doesn't feel as clean and as comfortable as the Zen 2 in my opinion. We're gonna try to throw some Anhyzer flexes at this basket now. I'm not gonna try to put these on a ton of Annie because I feel like when they do get on Anhyzer, they wanna ride it. We're gonna see if that's the case. Just like that. You can kind of see how long they actually just want to hold over when you do get them on Anhyzer. It's almost really hard to get like a flex out of them, just because once they get on it, they want to hold the Annie. Oh, I got that really flat. You can see the nice fade right into the long stuff. That is great news for me. You saw I didn't quite get the trance on any Anhyzer, so we're gonna try this again. I might move places because I'm about tired of looking for discs and that long grass. Just like that. Even if I throw them softer like that one, I still got the Anhyzer, but it just holds Annie. So more of like a nice turnover backhand rather than a flex, which based off the numbers makes sense. You see it was trying to get on Anhyzer, but just not quite. So I could even give it a little bit more Annie to really watch it go right. But that's what I'm saying is, like, every time I throw the trance, I get confused. I noticed this last time I threw the trance, but I feel like it's such a happy medium between too much Anhyzer where it just rolls and not enough where it gets on Anhyzer, but it just goes dead straight on Annie. It's a very interesting flight, and one that I just cannot figure out for the life of me, it seems like. Let's play this hole right here. The basket is right behind those trees on the right side, so it kind of forces me to put it on Anhyzer and watch it hold the entire way. It's just not enough. And I feel like the Essence, I'm gonna get a much more consistent flight out of it. The Essence, I just think it's a little bit easier to hold over, and you see there is a little bit of a fight out at the last second, but not quite like the Trance. So that's why it confuses me a lot, because even when we were throwing Hyzer flips, you saw the first one, I tried throwing Hyzer and it rolls over. Then when I try to put it on Annie, it seems like I'm scared to put it on too much Annie to trust it. It's like I can't trust it, I think, is the biggest thing here. Just want to throw a couple of these holes. This one's just a nice little baby Hyzer. Basket's on the left side. I mean, from like a short distance, the Trance seems really consistent for me. I can just kind of throw it on a little bit of Hyzer. It'll flip up a little bit, but it will fade. But it's when I get to a little bit further distance, or when I'm throwing it max power, where I'm just super inconsistent with it. Through the Essence a bit flatter, so it was able to push for longer there. One more hole here with both of these discs. It is scorching hot out here. I'm ready to be in some air condition. Here we go. Just kind of a nice Hyzer, straight uphill. See how both of these fly. The Essence doing the same thing, just pushing a little bit further. I'd love to know your guys' thoughts between the Essence and the Trance. In my opinion, I would go with the Essence all day over the Trance, but that's just because I don't throw the Trance very good. Every time I throw it, I feel very inconsistent with the disc, and I'm not saying that this is a bad disc. It's very hard to say a mold is a bad disc, and typically I feel like as disc golfers, as amateurs even, the only reason we call a disc bad is because we don't throw it well, and if we make an expectation for that disc and it doesn't do quite what we thought it would, we'll end up just calling it bad. But I'm not saying the Trance is bad. I just feel there is more consistency with the Essence. What do you guys think? Let me know down below. I'm sorry this was possibly a little bit of a shorter video. I'm absolutely dying out here, but I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button, and we'll see you in the next one.